Hey, welcome to Legacy Ladder. I am Mr. Hunter, your instructor, and on this channel, we talk about all things dealing with finance. We talk about credit. We talk about how to leverage that credit. We talk about how to obtain personal funds and business funding via the correction of your credit to purchase assets that pay you residually. Thus the name, Legacy Ladder. We're building generational wealth one rung at a time here. Okay, so if that sounds interesting to you, that's your goals. You want something for your family, you want something to leave to your kids, you want this information to teach to your kids, you're in the right spot. What qualifies me? Is it because I grew up in Compton, California, broke, poor, went through the struggles, and made it to where I am today? I would say partially. But what really qualifies me more so is at one point, I've touched a bit of money in my life and I've lost it. And I've gained money again and I've lost it. And I've had to reverse engineer what I was doing to make sure that I didn't do it again. Because in my community, we learn a lot of things in school. And we learned a lot of outdated things in school, right? They don't teach us economics. It's a course for sure. Economics is a course in school, in high school, in the entry levels of college, right? They don't teach you the true meaning of economics. They don't show you how to utilize money to make money for you. Thus, this makes you a worker. All right. I have a lot of people get offended when I say, oh, yeah, this is modernized slavery. Touchy subject. Yeah, I get it. Who wants to be called a slave? But think about it. If you are a slave to your time, right? You got to clock in how many hours? 8, 9, 10, 12 hours? How many days out of the week do you have to do that? 4, 5 days out of the week? What does that leave you? 2 days left out of the week? Oh, the weekend. That's something subconscious. Week. That's the weakest part of your week. Weekend. You're tired. You normally lose a day because you need to recuperate from everything that you've done throughout your work week. Then that leaves you Sunday. Then they give you the latter part of the week. Once again, businesses are closed. So if there's anything that you need to take care of, 9 times out of 10, you're not going to be able to take care of it. So here we show you freedom, financial freedom, so that you can truly live at peace. All right. That sounds interesting to you. You're in the right place. Make sure you please share this information. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Why? We do this all the time for stuff that doesn't mean anything. If a person falls off a bike, gets hit by a car, some gang activity, mindless stuff, we'll share that information in a heartbeat. When a person's trying to change their community, uplift them, we won't share a video like this. That's a problem. We got to change that around. Okay? Back to the lesson. Today's lesson is called Mind Your Business. Minding your business. All right. I know we've heard this before in our lives, especially if you grew up with a mama like mine, a daddy like mine. All right. Back in the day, old school. We go to auntie's house. Where was the party spot at? The garage, or they got a back room, whatever the case may be. All the adults back there, right? What they doing? They doing something children shouldn't be paying attention to, right? The kids, we always looking, right? We always seeing what they up to, right? Oh, we see a little drinking. We see you smoking. We see everything that y'all doing. We supposed to be doing what the kids do. But that didn't seem like fun, right? It seemed like fun was what the adults was doing. So what we do? We go in there with not, Mama, I wanted to ask you. Then we start looking around, seeing everything the adults was doing. Then you'll have an uncle or somebody, boy, what you doing? Mind your business. Get on up out of here. You scurry along, go play with the rest of the kids. That's partially the minding of business that I'm talking about, but that's not really the mind that I'm talking about. Okay. Brings me to the English language. There's a word called homonyms. Homonyms in the English language is a word that sounds the same. Craziest part is with this word, it could even be spelled the same, right? But has a different meaning. What does any of that have to do with making money? Follow me. Follow me. I'm the teacher, right? Follow me though. In research, one has to really, really, really dive deep into what they're researching so that they can make sure they have the correct answer to what it is that they're studying, right? And there's different levels to learning. We'll talk about that in a minute as well. But in the English language, this is why if a person is teaching me something and it comes from English, I got to take it with a grain of salt. My dad, uh, he's a pastor, and what he taught me growing up was he was the first person to give me Strong's Concordance. He taught me the etymology of a word, which is where a word comes from. Tell me, son, you just can't take a word off face value. If it's uh, a word that you're reading in English, find out its root. It could be Greek, it could be Hebrew, it could be Latin. You have to find out where it comes from to understand what it truly is. And with my research, I find out that even though you found out what the word meant in that language, you had to understand what it meant culturally as well. Thus, ebonics, because we could say something like "What's up?" and we don't mean "What's up." We mean "What's up?" like "How you doing?" Or if you're reading that in English saying "What's up?" we can mean like "What's up?" like you got a problem with me. You see what I mean? So you have to understand what it meant culturally as well. But back to homonyms. If I was to ask you to spell sell, how would you spell it? Put it in the comments. Let me see it in the comments. How would you spell the word sell? And tell me why you chose that word. First word, first one comes to your mind. Sell. Some would spell it like this. Follow me. Sell. SALE. Right? You thought simple. Oh, we talking about business. We talk about money. You got to be talking about. You got to be talking about making a sale, right? That's not the sale I was talking about. Come on, comments. How would you spell it? How would you spell it? Sell. Sell. Oh, I see. I get it. Uh, you like water. Ah, you like being on them boats, huh? Sail. You gotta be talking about sailing, right? Sail. That's the first one came to my mind, right? Sail. You talk about sail. That that's not the that's not the sail I'm talking about neither. Come on, comments. What sail am I talking about? What sail am I talking about? Come on. So, oh, you got it. You got it. You got it. You got it. Come on. You got it. Somebody smart. Sail. He talking about sail like a cell phone. Nope. That's not the cell I'm talking about. Come on. Come on. Give it to me. Give it to me. What cell am I talking about? What's hmm, cell? See that word? Same spelling. He's talking about cells, like the cells of a body. We're on a molecular level. I'm not talking about that cell either. The cell that I'm talking about is this one. Cell. I'm talking about a cell like a dungeon, imprisonment, because that's where our minds are when it comes to making money, when it comes to understanding how to utilize money. But you see all the different cells just from hearing this word, right? So back to the way my dad taught me, uh, if you're studying something, a topic, oh, you got to know where it's coming from. You must know its lineage. You must know what they meant about that particular word in their culture, right? So you will hear a word and you will think it means one thing, but it means something totally different, right? That's the topic of this lesson. You notice I spelled it mind your business, right? When I say mind, I'm not talking about mind as in MIND, but if you just heard that verbally, you think like how Uncle and them was telling you when you walked up in that room, hey man, mind your business. That's not what I meant. I meant mind, as in not even mine, but is in mind spiritually. We spoke about this in one of the lessons. If you were to close your mouth right now, say your name. It's an exercise. We're going to do it. Say your name in your head without speaking it aloud. Go ahead. Let's say it on the count of three. One, two, three. Okay. What voice was that? So you heard that, right? Craziest part is you know you heard that voice, which means your ears heard it, right? Now, this is the craziest part of it. I need you to add something extra to that. I want you to close your eyes and spell your name on the count of three. One, two, three. Craziest part is you saw those letters. There was no board, there was no marker, but you still saw those letters. That is your mind, MINE. That is your spiritual connection. We all have that ingrained in us spiritually. So I'm breaking this down to you because finances and money is a spiritual connection with your mind, with your spirit, right? This is why I couldn't hold on to money. You gotta keep in mind, I don't mind sharing a little bit about myself. This is early 2000 we talking about. Am I ashamed to talk about it a little bit? Nah, not really, because I wasn't getting illegal, to be honest. But I was making close to $20,000 a month. It's a lot of money. That's cool money in today's time. Average person is not making $20,000 a month. Of course, there's people that's making way more than that. But early 2000, as young as I was, you bringing in that kind of money, I mean, you doing all right, right? But it went away. Why? Because I did not have the understanding of money. Easy come, easy go. I couldn't tell you where that money. That's equivalent to roughly $40,000 in today's time. What could you do with that kind of money? Which brought me to my journey today. Uh, I began with my credit journey, and like Dad taught me, man, you need to look at the whole history of something if this is what you're gonna be doing. You got to understand its origin, where it came from. You know, that's vital to being successful in it. So I began my research in credit, and oh, it goes far back. A man was only as good as his word. That's the first thing of credit. That's what credit literally means. Credit is given to a person on a word saying that you're gonna pay this back, right? And depending on how much you pay that back, that's how much your credit is worth. You know, growing up in the hood, that's kind of all we had to work on at one point. You know, if we didn't have money to get aluminum foil, sugar, parents would send us to our neighbors to go get something, borrow that, and depending on how good your credit was, they'll lend it to you. They give it right back to you. Oh yeah, we know. It's just rough. She gonna give it back to you. Ain't no thing. Yeah. Go on in the kitchen and get it. You know, mom's had good credit, pops had good credit, right? But in the economic sense and in the financial areas, we look at this as something that's not as important because where we come from, the word means everything. We say phrases like word is born, word is bond, and that meant like, man, if I say it, I'm gonna do it, right? You have a neighbor or a family member, hey man, I need you to help me come move Saturday. You show up, right? You don't wait till Monday roll around and oh man, I forgot all about that. Hey, man, you ain't worth nothing. So we have to look that in a credit sense as well. This is how you begin to build finances. Why? Doing my research, etymology of credit, I learned that this nation itself was born off of borrowing. This is open information. Like you look at it, research it yourself. This is facts. When the settlers, because they were not the natural inhabitants of this land, that's why they call themselves settlers. When the settlers came here, they needed money to build, right? They needed money to fight the wars that they were having against Europe at the time for their liberation. They needed monies to do this. So they borrowed from places like Canada. They borrowed from places like France. They borrowed from multiple countries in order to build what you see today. Of course, it was built off the slaves' backs. That goes without saying. But to be able to fight these wars that they were having, well, they said, "Oh man, let me borrow some money." I said, "Well, how are you gonna pay me back?" Thought about it. We'll pay you back off the labor of the people. And this is the Reader's Digest version. I'm fast forwarding it, which rolled into today's times. See, a lot of people believe that slavery has ended because you're looking at it from an agricultural stance. We've moved on from picking cotton. We've moved on from sharecropping to what you know today as an employee. Now, am I saying anything's wrong with a job? Absolutely not. 100%. I'm not saying that. Am I saying all bosses are evil and they're puppet master? No, I'm not saying none of the above. However, what I am saying is this: everyone should have more liberation than what they have right now. If you need to take time off, or if you live in check by check and it's going to hurt you to go to your son or daughter's graduation because you don't have enough sick time, vacation time saved up, that's a problem. That's an issue, right? If you're dependent on a company or a job to make sure that your rent is paid, and if you miss 1 or 2 days and you're significantly affected by that, you are a slave. That's just what it is. You need to do something more with your resources. God himself was a creator. In the beginning, God created man, woman, earth, everything, birds, trees, famine, separated everything. God showed us himself that he was a creator. It is in our nature to create as he did as well. Back to credit. So, along with my journey, I found the history of it and I said, wait a minute, this is something much more than just obtaining some money. This is a vehicle, this is a tool. So, I learned the 5 principles of credit and what makes those up. What are the 5 principles of credit? 5 things that make up credit. It's just not a simple score. Credit is based off of these 5 things: your payment history, okay? Credit is also made off of your utilization, okay? Credit is made up also of your credit age. These percentages could be off just a hair, okay? What else? Credit is also made up of your derogatory marks, that's 15%. And credit is also made up of these things here. I hate these. Inquiries. This totals 100% of your score. Okay. Now, what's the importance of that? Well, this is what a lender will look at and say, hey, all right, this person's worth this amount of money. Why? Because their payment history. They could borrow up to 35. Their payment history is 100%, right? So you got 5 products, whatever the case may be, you paid them 100% on time. It shows, hey, this person knows what he's doing. I don't mind lending them some money, right? That's would be okay if it was just made up off of that. What's your utilization? If you're using up to 99% of whatever these products are, then you're not lendable. Makes no sense. Okay, I gave you $100, but you're using $99 of it every single time. Yeah, you're making your monthly payment of $5 a month, but you can't manage what you already have. Next thing is your age. How long did you borrow this? Like I don't know you like that. It's just like back in the neighborhood. I don't know you like that, man. You going around the corner asking for some money. You may be able to borrow some money from somebody on your block, but people 3 blocks up, I don't even know you. Like we just met. That's 10%. Derogatory marks. Oh, you got a collection? You ain't paid no money back? You ain't, oh, no, man. All bad. That's a black eye. It's a huge black eye. Last one is inquiries. How many times you coming back asking for money? Don't nobody like a beggar? How many times you coming back asking for money? I just gave you some. I just gave you some sugar. I just gave you some butter. I just gave you some aluminum foil. This makes up 100% of your credit score. So, knowing this, that was the physical aspect of it. But what does that have to do with the mind? What does that have to do with the mind? I understand the physical aspect of it, but what does that do with the mind? When I say mind your business, I'm talking about your spiritual side. I'm talking about who you are, right? You have to understand yourself on a deeper level. Once again, we back to homonyms. When we speak of the word mind, I want you to think in terms of one that's building, right? I want to think you in the terms of excavating. You're literally doing this. I'm horrible at spelling. Y'all got to excuse me. I may add an extra G there, but guess what? I don't care. Once again, back to homonyms. That's not what's important. The important is the message. Anyway, digging. You have to dig deep into the recesses of your mind, right? It's another word. This is a great one right here. This is where it all comes from. I might have got that one right. Might have got that one right. Epigenetics. What is epigenetics? Epigenetics is, well, it's been scientifically proven that trauma, let me start there, can be passed down generationally, even skip generations and be passed down generation. How is that important? You wonder why out the blue you've never been uh in a skyscraper, yet you're scared of heights. You've never once stepped foot in the ocean. You've never been past your bathtub, but you are petrified of water. You don't understand why you have these certain allergies to something that you never had. You know, epigenetics is these things that have been passed down to you by your ancestors, and you don't even know. That's why, once again, minding your business goes back to digging. You have to figure out yourself first. Okay? But this is the beautiful part of it. Great things are passed down via epigenetics as well. You ever wonder why somebody just always seem to be good at everything? Not, I mean, everything. Like you just have natural talent at some things. You picked up uh some some colors and some crayons, and you start drawing amazingly. Like I had a partner of mine. Oh my God, he's so good. This guy here, man. I love my boy, man. Shout out to my boy Monty. Um, he's an amazing artist. I used to look at his work like, oh my God, brother, you amazing. Like, how do you do? He just doodled, and I just saw him over the years just progressively get better and better. And he put down a pen because he'd do a lot of stuff with pens and coloring pencils, and picked up a paintbrush, and this dude was amazing. And what I love most about him was his mindset. We'll have discussions, and we'll talk about things like, oh man, I'd be like, man, you're a natural Picasso. And he's like, Picasso? Like Picasso stuff is kind of ugly if you think about it. Like it's like anybody could draw that. I'm thinking like, man, you know what? You're kind of right if you really think about it. You had another person place a value on something that kind of is not even true. Like, am I knocking Picasso's and all that? Yeah. Do I wish I had one to sell? Yeah, but it's not the greatest of art. Just to be honest. And once again, this brother, oh man, amazing, amazing. But I love his mindset more than anything. He's like if you could draw a Picasso, kind of man, one eye bigger, smaller than the other. Who can't do that, right? So um, learning your history is very, very, very valuable to your finances. What is so important about finances? Why is he pushing finances so much? Well, this is a vehicle that is used throughout the world. Currency, commerce, the exchange of goods and services. What is the currency? At one point, it was salt. At one point, it was gold. Still, well, still is gold. At one point, it was silks. At one point, it was simply, and it still is, your word. So you have to learn how to leverage that credit with the proper mindset, learning who you are in order to be able to sustain what you gather. Keep in mind, I like I said, I've touched close to $20,000 every a month. This is residually. This isn't nothing I had to do any hard work for, and blew it. Can't tell you where it went, right? But on along my credit journey, touched a couple $100,000 in 90 days. With the losses I took, I knew exactly what to do with that, right? I knew the credit formula. I knew what lenders were looking for. And I told myself, you know what, this is a valuable tool that many people need to learn. See, the problem is you give that kind of money to somebody nowadays, they're going to think they're rich. I've already lost lots of money, so it didn't mean anything to me. In fact, I've invested into a restaurant even after that, years after that, and lost over $100,000. So my losses qualified me for sustainability because I know what it is to lose. And man, I don't know if you ever lost any money before, but being being broke is cool if you don't know what money is like. But once you gain some money and you lose, man, that's horrible, man. That I mean, I'm gonna be honest to you. Like it's bad. You down bad. Like people looking at, damn man, you used to be up. Like, and not that I'm just the type of person that care what everybody think about, but golly, man, the struggles and knowing that you can't care for your family like you know you need to care for them, like that's that's a lot of weight on a man. That's a lot of weight on a woman. It's a lot of pressure. So to circumvent those things, I told myself next time I come across some money, I'm gonna work hard, make sure I get some money, and then I'll never go back to poverty again. My mindset was off. I thought I had to work for money in order to become rich. But in actuality, you had to get yourself together spiritually in order to get rich. Why? Because the moment you got yourself together, you'll realize it had nothing to do with you. The funds that you get, money is it's like water. It's current. It has to constantly be moved. It can't be stagnant. It can't be stale. It has to flow. That's why they call it cash what? Cash flow. You can't make money without spending money. So you have to be spiritually connected to know, all right, this has to flow. You have to understand that, okay, I can't take these apple seeds and eat them or give them to somebody to eat, but I can take these seeds to plant them, watch that plant continue to grow. Oh, now this plant bears fruit. Now I can give you a couple apples yourself and say, hey, go plant your own apple tree. And now we've begun a community we both have. So that's minding your business. Okay. Dig, dig deep into the recesses of yourself. What brought this up was a lovely family member of mine. I'm not going to go into any uh, hints of whom this person is, but great guy. I said that. Great guy. Hardworking guy. And he came to me and he said, man, like, like he's looking at me like I just had it. And when he came to me, he said this. He said, man, I want to, God, I want, God, I just want a good woman. How do I get a good woman? And when he said this to me, the first thing I thought to myself was, well, that's the first mistake. Us men, we always think we know what a woman wants. That's the very first thing. Like, we don't know what it takes to get a woman. Woman chooses you. That's the first thing. But one thing I do know is this. When you mind your business, i.e., get yourself together, work on you. Oh, the queen gonna come. Sisters, if I'm right about it, please leave me a comment. Please share this one. These brothers need to hear this. It took me a while. I ain't always been, no. I figured this out in my latter years. But you can't, it ain't no check boxes. It's like, oh yeah, she like what? Oh, okay. Boop. I check there. Bam. I check there. Oh, she the woman for me. Hey, how you doing? You gonna be you gonna be shot down. A woman spot you way before you spot her. She like you way before man, you don't. She been getting in your way the whole time. You just now noticing her. You know what I'm saying? You should be just getting hint after hint after hint. You know what I mean? And then it finally do. Like I don't know, man. We're a little slower. That's just true. We're a little bit slower, right? So that's what I told this family member. I told him, listen, get yourself together, mind your business. All right. By minding your business, you want to be 100% you. All right. We are protectors. We are providers. That's what we do as men. Right. And by that, I'm just not talking about on a physical sense. I mean, on a spiritual sense. I am ready 100% of the time, all of the time for my family. You need advice? I am there. I am of clean, I am of sober mind. I am ready for you. I am study. I am learned. I don't just stop and put myself in this box. I like reading books still. Like people don't even read books nowadays. It's mind boggling to me. You think that you because you read an ad or a couple things on your phone and laptop and tablet that you read. Okay, that's reading, but there's nothing like building your library. Man, build your library. Build your library. Read you some books. It's nothing like turning pages in the books and seeing how far along you got. It's nothing like my big brother still does this. I love him to death, man. Thanks, bro. Uh, my brother still orders me books on Amazon and gives them to me. He's invested in something that money just can't buy. My knowledge to know, which brings me to the 3 levels of learning. And this is what's going to help you guys with this one. I'm going to end this one with the mind of your business. You have to understand the 3 levels of learning. First level of learning is education. What is education? Education is narrow. It's a scope. That's why they call it a scope of education. So if you set out to become a lawyer, you're going to learn law. It makes no sense to learn about what the astronauts are doing or how to yield crop or anything of that nature. There's no sense in learning about science. You study law. Your scope is very narrow. Now, it's beautiful. Don't get me wrong. This is something that you can leverage. However, it's very, very limited. So once you take this pill, you can't unlearn what I'm teaching. This just is what it is. So I've always been the type of person. Okay, I don't mind getting educated. Like people hear me talk about school and all that. It sounds like I'm anti-school. Not actually. I just have a broader understanding of it. This is how I teach my son. Son, go there, go learn their language. You you go get that. Go get that. Go get that. You're gonna meet a group of friends. You're gonna maybe join a sorority, and you're gonna have these connections with people that you would no other way be able to have that. Go get that, but don't limit yourself to the scope that they're trying to get you down. That's why they make you choose a major and a minor. What if I want to do several things? Well, I gotta narrow down my studies. I'm just saying. My son has that understanding at a young age, 16-year-old boy. Like, oh yeah, I'm gonna go get that education, but I'm gonna use that to open up my own business. If I become a doctor, I'm not going to just sit up under UCLA. Cool, y'all. Hey, thank you. I like you, UCLA. Nothing against USC. Nothing against all these big. Nothing against y'all. But after I've worked for you for so long and I have my money up and I have the education, I have the education. I'm going to start my own practice. Why not? See, I can't pass this doctoring down to my son. I can't say, all right, you are now a doctor. That does nothing for him. But this business, I can for years to come. That's education is narrow. Second level of learning is wisdom. And I love wisdom because wisdom is actual dual headed. A person becomes wise with their own experiences, be it good or bad, faults or not. But the beauty of wisdom is you can learn this vicariously through somebody else, just watching them, or them telling you from mouth to ear, like the elders used to do. They would do this in storytelling, right? So a person didn't have to experience, or if you didn't have the time to experience it, you could learn it just like that. I met a man one day, and at first I thought he was crazy, and I had to think about it. I said, okay, he's going somewhere with this. He said, you know how old I am? Looked at him, not trying to, feel bad. You know how it is. I figured he was probably 60-ish or whatever. I'm like, what, 50s or something if I had to guess? He said, I am 182 years old. I'm thinking at first, like, his brother lost his. Well, wait a minute. Hold on. Where are you going with this? I sat there quiet and I listened. He said, man, I was blessed to have met my great grandfather and sat on his lap, and I recall the stories he used to tell me. Of course, I've met my grandfather and was able to soak in the wealth of knowledge that he had. And my father raised me into the man that I am today, and I have my own life experiences. That places me at a age of wisdom of 182 years old in this life. Remember, epigenetics, there's no telling how much wealth of knowledge a person may have. That's gotcha. I understand. That's wisdom. Wisdom comes like this. Your sister, you going to school. She graduates. You go to the same school that she went to. She finally tell you, girl, because girls be just like boys in high school and all that. My sister was for sure. You ain't gotta like walk all the way around. Like you could like hop the fence right there and like be there in like half the time. The crazy part is this. I used to iron my clothes, right? And I'll put my backpack up and all that the night before. So that's gonna cut your time down even more. You know what that does for you? You ain't even gotta wake up as early. That's wisdom being passed down. You don't have to go through what they went through. You can just hear the knowledge and learn from it. The last part of learning is knowledge itself. Thus the root word to know. When you know something, you know it. It's like I told you, Dad taught me. You study it from the rooter to the tutor, like they used to say. You study the etymology of the word. Where did this word come from? Is it Latin? Is it Greek? Is it Hebrew? Is it Sanskrit? Is it clits? Like, is it a culture? I mean, seriously, not being funny. Is it clits? Because that's a language that's been found by universities to be more complex than the English language. Clits. I take you have no idea what I said. Me and my brother, we actually invented our own language. He see this video right now. I can say, "Hey, come out, talking about on the talking about, man, talking about. I'm on some come out, talking about right now. Come out, man. May no more May. Come on, some talking about, come on, talking about." That's literally a conversation that only my brother and a couple of my friends that could decipher what I said right now. Ain't no more talking about, man. Ain't no more May on some talking about. Feel me? You see me, and my brothers know me. You know what I mean? So you can't decipher that. That's more complex than the English language. You know, that's just like what we invented growing up in the neighborhood. What this mean? A person that's not from this culture, and if you didn't have the internet nowadays, you would have no idea what this means. A person walk by you, that could mean a couple things. To be honest, you might want to watch out, or or right back at you. So that's That's the beauty of knowledge. Once you know, then you actually know. You've done your research. You've looked into the depths of this thing, right? Now you know. Once you know it, you can't. You took the red pill. Ain't no going back, Neo. You took the red pill. And that's the beauty of this channel here. I'm teaching you how to mind your business. What is your business? Your business starts with you first. Then the money comes. People come to me want credit repair. People come to me, they want funding. And I have to look at them spiritually first. I look like just handing this man $50,000, man. He's not ready spiritually. He's gonna kill himself. He's gonna drink himself to death. He's gonna get some drugs. He's going to invest into something that may hurt him more so because he's gonna go into debt. So I'm gonna grill my students before I talk to you, right? Because the money come. I'm not even worried about it. The money coming. It's easy. And you always gonna be tested. I'm gonna end you with this one, right? One of my vehicles today got hit. True story. True story. Right before my lesson. True story. One of my Teslas got hit today, but it wasn't no super bad damage. Not, I didn't notice it to be honest. So, my sister, she drives that for me, and she called me. Hey, bro, man, dude hit me. True story. Like, and I'm trying to figure out. I said, well, let me call me on FaceTime. Let me look at that. I looked at it, checked it out. Hispanic brother. Everything that's going on in the world right now, if you're paying attention to it, it's just once again, I look at the whole picture. This is how my dad taught me, so this is how I roll. I don't care nothing about, oh yeah, ice, forget ice, man. Nah, they shouldn't be rolling up like that. Man, some folks shouldn't be taking things into your own hands and not making sure that man, that woman get home to their family neither. So who did what first, right? What is that line? I'm gonna do it like that. So it's a Hispanic brother. He get on the FaceTime with me. I said, man, listen, I'm gonna tell you like this. He first of all, hey man, I need you to understand this. I stopped, I got out the car, I gave your sister all my information. We can sit right here, wait for the police, or I'm ready either way if you wanna, you know. I say, listen here, man. There's too much going on in the world today. You get a chance to do something nice for somebody, you make sure you take care of them, brother. You do that. If that brother see this video, he'll tell you I'm telling the truth. Like, drop it in the comments. Like, he'll tell you, hey man, this man ain't lying. This just happened today, right? Today is June 9th, 2025. He'll tell you right now, yes, this truly happened. I said, there's too much going on and all that. I'm not even gonna get into the legal ramifications and all that because my car got sensors and all that. I just pray to God all is well, right? So I said, man, I'm not even gonna take you through all that and have them hit you with an extra point on your insurance, do all that run. We ain't even gonna go that route, brother. You know what I'm saying? You gonna have a blessed day, man. Remember, we gotta look out for each other, man. There's too much going on in the world today. You get a chance to do something nice for somebody, you make sure you do that. He said, man, I appreciate you, man. I appreciate you. I thank you, man. You right, man. Thank you, brother. Your sister, she got my number, anything, man. We out here. Hey, now I got an ally. He's out there in the city where my mom is at, right? I need anything. I call the brother up. Brother name's Jose. Jose, look, hey, remember, hey man, I need a favor. That's how we got to operate in this world. I didn't learn that. I wouldn't have known that had I not minded my business. I didn't dig deep into mind your business. Remember homonyms, not mind. Dig into the recesses of your soul. Find out who you are and start acting accordingly. That way, when God bless you to get this money, you know exactly what to do with it. You know how to move differently. You know how to affect people differently. And this is how we change the world. All right? We're building a legacy, one rung at a time here. It's much more than just money. It's much more than just a dollar. We're changing the people. We're changing the culture. If you like this video, you better make sure you drop a comment, like, comment, subscribe. Share this, man. We share junk all day long. We share junk all day long. Make sure somebody hears this that may need to hear this. All right? Till then, we got more episodes coming for you. Stay tuned. Stay tuned. All right? We're building a legacy ladder one rung at a time. I love you all. I hope this was a blessing to you guys, which I'm sure it was because that's what I prayed for beforehand. All right? So until then, you guys have a blessed day, and I'll talk to you soon.